Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're cracking the code on a real linguistic mystery. Ser versus estar, the case of the split verb. If you're a focused learner studying Portuguese, I can almost guarantee you've hit a brick wall when trying to translate the English verb to be. In English, it's so simple, right? We just say, I am tall, or I am tired. But in Portuguese, I am tall becomes eu sou alto, using the verb ser. But I am tired is eu estou cansado, using the verb estar. Boom. Suddenly, the absolute baseline of our communication literally splits into two completely different paths. Look, if you've ever felt a massive wave of frustration trying to figure out which version of to be you're supposed to use, let me just validate that struggle for you right now. You are absolutely not alone. So why is to be so insanely tricky in Portuguese? Well, it's because we're taking a concept that English treats as just one big unified idea, and we're forcing our brains to split it up and categorize it. It's tricky because it requires a fundamental shift in how you actually observe the world around you. You can't just say something is anymore. You have to stop and ask yourself, okay, how is it, and for how long is it going to stay that way? It demands a level of precision that we honestly just don't even have to think about in English. Okay, let's dive into this because here is the core of our problem, which is actually the exact key to our solution. One English verb equals two Portuguese verbs. Both ser and estar translate perfectly to the English verb to be. But, and this is a massive but, here's the catch, they are used in totally different contexts. They are absolutely not interchangeable. No way. You can't just swap one out for the other without completely changing the meaning of your sentence or, just outright confusing the person you're talking to. It basically means that every single time you want to say is or are in Portuguese, you've got to make a choice. We have to look really closely at the context of the situation to decide which path we're going to take. Let's isolate our first verb right now, ser. So ser is used to describe permanent, inherent, or defining characteristics. I want you to think of ser as your anchor. It's solid. When you use this verb, you're talking about the very DNA of a person, a place, or thing. You're talking about traits that define its core identity. The kinds of things that don't just change overnight. So if you're talking about your profession or your nationality, like saying you're a teacher or that you're Brazilian, these are things that are central to your identity. You are living firmly in the world of ser. It carries this authoritative, steady weight to it. It is the verb of permanence. Whenever you need to establish an unwavering fact about identity, ser is absolutely the tool you reach for. And this brilliantly illustrates our second verb, because in stark contrast, we have estar. While ser is our rock, estar captures the temporary. It's used to describe temporary states or conditions. It's fluid, it's energetic. It captures the fleeting moments of existence. Think of it like this. If ser is the climate of a region, steady, expected, defining, then estar is today's rainstorm. It's what's happening right now, in this specific exact moment, but it makes zero promises about tomorrow. By drawing this really sharp line between the permanent identity of ser and the temporary condition of estar, Portuguese actually allows for an incredible amount of nuance that English just totally misses out on with our basic to be. Now, what's really interesting about this is figuring out when exactly estar steps into the spotlight. Well, there are three distinct contexts to watch out for. First up, emotions. How you feel changes from day to day, right? Even hour to hour. You might be happy now and sad later. That's a temporary state, so boom, it requires estar. Second, locations. Where a person or movable object is currently placed is rarely permanent. You're at the store, then you're at home. Your physical location is just a temporary state of being. And third, physical conditions. If you're sick or tired or feeling super energetic, those are conditions of the body that are currently true, but they'll eventually pass. So these three things, emotions, locations, and physical conditions, are your biggest clues that you need to use estar. Let's move forward and see how this builds, because all of this points to one critical, absolute rule of thumb. Subject to change. Literally, if you take away nothing else from this explainer, let it be that phrase. When you use the verb estar, you're essentially sending a hidden signal to your listener. You're telling them that the situation you are describing right now is actively capable of changing. It isn't locked in. It's a current reality, sure, but it's totally bound by time and circumstance. So when you look at an object or a person and you're trying to decide between our two verbs, just stop and ask yourself, is this current state subject to change? If the answer is yes, then estar is the verb you need. It perfectly highlights the dynamic, ever-shifting nature of life. So the crucial point is that putting these two heavyweights side by side creates that essential aha moment for us. Ser is your permanent anchor. Estar is the shifting wind and waves. Ser covers those defining traits that make a thing exactly what it is, while estar covers states and conditions that are entirely subject to change. And once you see it like that, it's no longer just a guessing game, is it? It becomes a logical system. English might blur all those lines by just using to be for every single thing, but Portuguese forces you to observe reality more closely. Are you describing an unchangeable truth, or are you just describing a passing moment? This juxtaposition right here is the master key to unlocking the whole puzzle. And here is the ultimate payoff. As our source material points out, by understanding the difference, you'll be able to describe people, places, and things more accurately in Portuguese. And I mean, that's the whole goal, isn't it? Accuracy, confidence. When you stop just directly translating to be from English, and you actually start applying the logic of ser and estar, your communication seriously levels up. You stop making that awkward rookie mistake of telling someone they have a permanently sad personality when, hey, they're really just temporarily tired. You gain the power to express exact, precise meanings. This duality, it isn't just some boring grammar rule to memorize. It's a real tool that dramatically enhances how vividly and correctly you can paint a picture with your words. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a little something to chew on as you go about the rest of your day. Just look at the world around you, and honestly, even look at yourself. Ask, are your current traits permanent or are they subject to change? When you say, I am tired or I am an enthusiastic learner, start filtering those English thoughts right through the lens we just built together. Which ones represent your core, inherent, defining characteristics, and which ones are just the fleeting weather of your current condition? Practice categorizing your own life into the permanent and the temporary. Keep this framework in the back of your mind, and I promise you'll find that navigating sail in a star becomes second nature. Keep observing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.